Well, fans, I guess we start by saying fans, alumni, media, oh yeah, and taxpayers, maybe mostly you taxpayers, you should have seen this coming. I didn't see it coming this quickly, but we knew this was on its way, and I can explain why it's on its way and what a nightmare this can be for all of you. Professional college sports is a mess. And guess who has showed up to fix it? The group that's going to fix it, like they fix everything, would be your righteous, your sensible, and very moral political heroes. Because they can fix anything, right? They're sort of like kind of their boss. They fix everything, don't they? I doubt this will be the end of government intervention in this case. And the reason is that college sports matter a lot. I mean, first of all, let's back up a second and understand why they would be here. They're here because it matters to the people that matter to them. That part makes perfect sense. The reason your political heroes are now here and offering up solutions, some of which you might think are pretty good, some you might say are crazy, some are, middle of the road. But the reason why they're here is that college sports matter to your elected officials because college programs are first. We can go in order on this, why it matters to politicians. College sports programs are owned by rich people, particularly football and basketball. And the rich people matter. And what they want obviously matters. And in the Republican base of the South, college sports are NASCAR. Football is NASCAR. College football in the South may have surpassed NASCAR. But it matters. And since it matters to the fans, it matters to the politicians. So that's your voting block in the South. And a lot of people have figured out that college football have turned into money sports. I call it sugar daddy economics. And a lot of people, for good reason, are disgusted by it. And a lot of people, because it matters, particularly in the South, they've got to figure out a way to fix it. Particularly in the South, where they've figured out, I predicted this for quite some time, I told you this was coming, that the richest kid there is, the one that owns everything, that doesn't blink at all, the 800-pound gorilla that is the University of Texas, has got the South scared because you can't keep up economically in a sport that is quickly turning into a mercenary sport, college football in particular, and you can't spend with Texas. So here's what's reported today. You can decide, you can go any number of directions with this. You don't have to be a big college sports fan to appreciate some of what is happening here. So here you go. On the same day, this is what's reported. I'll just read it straight up to you, then react to it. On the same day, the House versus NCAA final approval hearing took place. A transformative federal bill was introduced in the House of Representatives. It would replace the NCAA while also shaking up the college athletics landscape, including the transfer portal and conference realignments. H.R. 2663, called, ready for it, Restore College Sports Act. It was filed by Representative Michael Baumgartner, who is a Republican from Washington. Does anyone, I do, I remember hearing it, does anyone remember when Republicans were all about, or they said they were all about less government intervention? Now it's the party of all intrusive, all intervention. So his bill, and there's going to be plenty of others. This is not, this is just, I think there's going to be a tidal wave of this stuff. I do. It would create the American College Sports Association. What is that? That's American College Sports Association would be ASCASA, or we'll just say it ASCAS for short. I made that up. The entity would replace the NCAA and, quote, according to the bill, would oversee and regulate college sports. Per the bill, AKSA would have a commissioner appointed by The president, the president of the United States. Oh, Jeff, why are you laughing? Shut up. That's just laughable, as usual. But okay, let's play along with this because I don't think we're done. I think this is the tip of the iceberg. So the bill would have the commissioner appointed by the president with advice and consent of the Senate. Yeah, all that stuff's going to happen. Right. The commissioner of American College Sports Association, for this conversation, Jeff's calling it ASCA. The commissioner would serve 4-year terms. Okay, and so there's details to this. Let me explain. So my thoughts on this, all right? Yes, the bill introduced isn't a terrible idea in theory. The concept of this is exactly what I've been saying for about 3 years now, that you're going to need someone to run this. You're going to need some guardrails. So the theory of this, the concept itself is not bad. The industry needs guidance. It needs vision. It needs guardrails. It needs policies. It is absolutely lawless as it stands now. And so if you're anybody saying, it's got to have some rules, then yeah, in theory, this legislation would start to put those things in place. That's not a terrible concept to have. It's an out of control framework whereby the ultra rich, the one right down the street from where I'm sitting, the ultra rich do whatever they want because the most recent legal case that is less than 24 hours old now, it's going to send most sports programs, not the ultra rich, not the 1%, but it's going to send most sports programs into a financial tailspin. They're not going to be able to last. Not only are they not going to be able to compete with the ultra rich, they're not going to be able to last. So that's reality. And, at some level, there's an argument to be made that maybe Rice shouldn't be playing football and basketball. Maybe Texas State shouldn't be playing football. I'm fine with that. The question is, who should be making these decisions? Exactly how do you want to get this figured out? So the court ruling, for those that don't understand what has happened in the last 24 hours, mandated a $2.8 billion payout to former college athletes up until the point of 2016 on that had sued, claiming that they deserved to make money off their likeness, their TV appearances, like athletes do today, because it was illegal when they were playing. An additional series of settlements mandate that every sports program pay its athletes $20.5 million per year with a 10% increase built in. The vast majority cannot make that payment. If they pull it off 1 year, they're probably not going to make it 2. And they're sure the heck not going to make it for the next 10 years at 10% increases every single year. It will kill off, for better or worse, it will kill off the vast majority of sports programs. So that's why this is coming up. And that's why, in theory, the legislation is not a terrible idea. It's trying to save sports programs at a variety of schools. It's trying to implement some guardrails. It's trying to implement a commissioner. All that makes some sense. What I think is right about the bill and what I think about is wrong about the bill, and I certainly welcome disagreement. I'm fine to have an argument, and I know where the argument's coming, and I'm fine with it. Perfectly fine. Don't run away from it. So there are parts of it that make sense to me. There are parts that don't make sense to me. I know the precise moment that I will get blowback. I know the blowback, what exactly it's going to be. It'll have nothing to do with my arguments about how this is going to work in the framework of college sports, which is out of control. So here we go. The creation of a governing body is a good idea. The bill calls it the American Collegiate Athletic Sports Association or something like that. I'm just going to say ASCA for short, and I made that up. That's not a terrible idea. That should exist. the people that are in the industry of professional college sports should want it to exist. Some of them don't, and some of them, the giant school that's ultra rich right down the street wants no part of that because it rules the sport. But yeah, it's a good idea. 2, require that name, image, and likeness dollars from schools and, quote, collectives be distributed equally to athletes from all the schools, because that's what the bill wants to do. It wants to, and good luck with this. But one of the things the legislation wants to do is say, listen, whatever money you put into sugar daddy economics, handouts, that's all it is handouts. Rich people give you stuff. They give you money. But the money, however it's generated that goes to players, the legislation is saying you pull that together and you distribute that equally. Now, that's what the NFL does with merchandising. That's what the NFL does with media and platform rights. That is the way the NFL works. And that's what the legislation is proposing, that whatever money comes in, you all have to split it. Okay? Stop there. Do you agree or disagree with that concept? Okay? The screaming sound that you'll hear is the 800-pound gorilla in the sport, the University of Texas. And they, I'm guessing, will fight that to the death. And they usually don't die. They usually win. There's a few of them that would say, how about no to the idea of spreading the money, because they have a built-in advantage because they're wealthier than everyone else. They have access to capital that no one else has access to capital to. So why would Texas and Ohio State and Michigan and USC agree to rules like that when they're saying, no, we don't want that? But it's proposed. Okay, so the first thing is creating a governing body, a different governing body with rules and all that stuff. The second part is splitting the money all the way around. The third part is having a director, commissioner of this governing body. I've said that for 3 or 4 years now. And then number 4, which is interesting, is it proposes a salary cap on coaches. And that's interesting to me. And this is all stuff that is bullet points. I did all the reading, pulled out the bullet points of what it really wants to do. The bill says this, that salaries for coaches would be capped at 10 times the cost of tuition, which means at most blue blood, even non-blue blood football factories, basketball factories around the country, the coaches would be taking a huge pay cut. Huge pay cut. In most cases. Again, that screaming sound that you hear will be the 800-pound gorilla right down the street called the University of Texas. They will fight that to the death. And there's arguments both ways on that. So those are the basics of this framework. Those are the basics of the bill. I don't even know where to begin on whether or not we think there's much of a chance of that. Most schools, and certainly in the South, where they're concerned that the rich kid is going to run off and leave them, I think there's going to be support for this. I think for the most part, there will be support for this. I'm even saying that in theory, it's a pretty good idea. Don't disagree. You're going to have a hell of a fight on your hands because the rich guys don't want it. But we'll see. Now, having said all of that, the bill that has been introduced, in my opinion, this is where you're going to want to fight with me. One particular bullet point, you're really going to want to fight with me. But I think it's a horrible idea for a number of reasons. Okay? My opinions only. Feel free to disagree all you want. I welcome that. The reason why I think it's mostly a horrible idea, no, a horrible piece of legislation is, number one, it says that you can transfer freely. The legislation is saying anybody can go anytime, anywhere. That's not a great idea at all. I don't think that's reasonable at all. And yes, it's contained in the bill that you would be able to go around wherever you want anytime. You'd say, well, Jeff, that's the American way. Well, so is an agreement the American way. I've advocated for 2-year agreements in athletics, right? If there's no agreement, that's fine. The school doesn't want to have an agreement with you. You don't have an agreement with the school, then fine. You're under no agreement. You can go whenever you want. But maybe they don't want to pay you as much. That seems reasonable to me. The NFL has contracts. So the idea of the bill, which is one of the bullet points, is that anybody could go anytime, anywhere, which is the way it is now, I don't think is really workable. I don't think it's reasonable. I don't think it's a very fair way to operate. Then a player should have 2-year agreements. And if you want to leave before the agreement is up, then they should get back compensation for it. That's the way professional sports works. And if that's what you're going to call yourself, then I think it's pretty reasonable. What isn't mentioned and what is impossible about having any sort of organization whatsoever, there has to be tampering rules put in place. This is what the difference is. One of the many differences between the NFL, which is smart, and the college sports industry, football in particular, which is pretty greedy and pretty dumb, is the NFL says we have tampering rules. So if Jeff is under contract with a USC, you can't be calling me up every Tuesday night. Say, hey, come over here. We got your new Lamborghini, buddy. So the player can't be bribed, in essence, to leave. For any program to survive, tampering rules have to be put into place. From what I can tell, your political heroes have not included that yet. I wouldn't be shocked if somebody did, but that should be up to a commissioner. You can't have any agreements. You can't have any sort of level competition unless you have tampering rules. Second, my biggest takeaway is, Yep, here it comes. I've already told you I'm not a huge fan of politicians. I'm not a huge fan of the fact that you like politicians. And I'm really not a fan that many of you seem to worship some politicians. I don't like it. I think their job should suck. I think it should be miserable for them. I think they should want to work and then get out as fast as possible. I wish you felt the same way, but you don't. We have this hero worshiping mentality. Seems to be playing out present day. So in addition to this legislation being, void of tampering rules, my bigger takeaway is to have the government, that's any branch of the government, to have the government select a commissioner of college sports, put the rules in place for college sports. The fact that you have members of Congress right now in the last 24 hours, because you want them to be here, because Republicans in the South desperately want them to be here, is pathetic and disgusting. This is what you want your elected officials to be doing? Really? Because things are going so well otherwise. You need them to fix college sports? The answer, I think, is overwhelmingly that's what most people want. But I find that pathetic. Now, it's even more pathetic that schools themselves don't have the guts, don't have the organization, don't have the wherewithal to say, Congressman, we don't need you. I'm the president of this university, or I'm a commissioner of a conference. Why don't we take care of this? The fact that the industry itself is so spineless and so greedy that it can't even come up with its own rules and or find a way to get a commissioner is pathetic and disgusting. The fact that a member of Congress, and there are plenty that want to do it, and there'll be more to come, the fact that members of Congress want to be here is embarrassing for us. Then, to add the extra element, to have the bill, have the President of the United States pick the commissioner of ASCA is asinine. I don't think I'll say insane, but I think that's asinine. The president, Mr. Tariff, him, that's who you want to pick the commissioner of college sports. That's what this bill says. What is that? Going to be one of his neck-bearded sons? You think that's going to go well? Kind of like things are right now? That's what you want? I know the answer. I know. It is what you want. It is the way to get it sold in the South. I know. That is asinine. The selection of a board and the president, commissioner of this organization, commissioner of college sports is what they're advocating. I agree with it. I agree that's what should happen. But it should be conference commissioners. It should be university presidents. It should be people within the sport who want to fix their own sport, not your elected officials. And God help you, not the president. Are you kidding? My gosh. I mean, yeah. I don't think that this is all that complicated, how to set up an organization, how to run it pretty well. And I don't even think it's that complicated to decide who should be running it. But the easiest response is who should not be running this? How about the president? I'll start there. That might be the last person on my list. They should make a board. Yes, sure. It should consist of an athlete or two. I've thought about this before. Yeah, a real board, an objective board who people have to answer to. It should be a current or former athlete or two. It should be a media executive or two. It should be a conference commissioner or two. You know, the people in the sport. It should be a university president or two. And Jeff Ward. I'd put myself on there. I don't want to be commissioner. I should be chairman of the board. You need to get freaking Congress out of the way and demand that your university presidents and your people are supposed to care about the future of your sport. You should have them involved. If you want to create an NFL model, then go create an NFL model. That's what they do. They have a board, they have a commission, they have people answer to each other. It's really not that complicated. This doofus wants to make it Congress's business and start by saying it should be Trump's business. That's the opposite thing of should be happening. So the idea, okay, go ahead and get pissed. So there are elements to this that would fix the sports, which desperately need fixing now, particularly they're on a collision course, most of them to be bankrupt in a short amount of time. I mean, they're dead man walking, most of them financially, not the giants, okay, not the 1%. Everyone else is dead man walking financially. But, you know, for this legislation to the idea that the man who has single-handedly taken a sledgehammer to the economy by pushing a dangerous, overreaching, and illogical series of protectionist policies, you know, that's taxes on imports, which he's backed away from, you know, that tough guy. But that's just stupid. That's beyond stupid. And the fact that they've even thrown it out there, he'll do it. He'll take it. Absolutely. I mean, this guy, he's got such a good handle on fixing things. They just appointed some liar at best, convict at worst, as economic advisor. He's probably going to pick one of his grifter sons. That'll go well. So, no. I don't know if I'm more embarrassed for Congress, which is impossible to be even more embarrassed, or university presidents who haven't done what I'm just doing right now and saying, hey, get out of here. You get out of here. Oh, my gosh, and don't get him involved. Go away. Go mess with something. Go screw up something else. They should be saying, conference commissioners should be saying, no, you guys, please. Go talk about tariffs a little bit more. We got this. That's what should be happening. And they're not, which is ridiculous. So if an argument is made that, well, because nobody else will fix it, Jeff, I mean, Congress has no choice, I think you have a point. I do. That's embarrassing and sad. But I don't think this is the end of it. Inviting a carnival barker who said he's going to fix groceries and then does just the opposite is just a crazy idea. And once it's floated, like I said, I'm afraid he'll take it. That deal will be done, or one of the family members will be in charge. So there you go. There's less than 24 hours. You've got your first of what I think is a variety of variations from your political heroes to appoint your ultimate political hero to fix college sports, in particular, its current collision for 95% of them towards bankruptcy.